today. It's the weekend, it's Friday, it's exciting. Weekends are always great for coding. What's going on, Amir? Urs Imu, welcome. What's going on, Jose? Super stoked for it to be Friday and get some weekend coding in. Where is Mark? So I'm Jason with DevSlopes, and Mark had been doing the live streams for a while. And now he's passed the baton to me. I actually used to do these live streams a lot before, but I was out for a little bit for like a month. So yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jason with DevSlopes. I'm a senior full stack developer here, and then also the mentor and coach for our web academy. So I help students learn web development. I coach them. I show them how to code. And then we do all the career prep, and I work with them until they get paid. So that's super important. Don, I am not the new Mark. Nobody could fill his shoes or that face of his, but I'm the new live stream guy. Actually not new because I used to do this a lot. So anyway, stoked to be here. How we doing, YouTube? Where's everybody on YouTube? We're getting a ton of love from Instagram, so that's great. Alex says it's time to sleep. For you or for me? Do I need to sleep or do you? So today we're going to be talking about if you need a computer science degree to get a job, like a development position. A lot of people ask me that every single day, and we're just going to keep it super casual. So if you have coding questions, you're a beginner, you're wondering where to start, you've got questions about freelancing or different tech stacks, feel free to drop those questions in the chat. Legend of the Sword, welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, what do we have here? All right, welcome everybody. All right, so what kind of questions do you have about coding? Who's working with React right now? Anybody using React? Let me know. What's going on, Edo? Anybody using React? Come on, somebody answer. I'll give it a minute for some people to answer here. So Ferbman asks, can I develop an app that makes money, or is that rare? Oh, absolutely. You can make an app that makes money. I mean, so you've got iOS and Android apps, right? You can make money from those. You can, I don't know if you're talking about web apps or if you're talking about like app store apps. So you could have subscription based, somebody could purchase the app. You could run ads, but there's one thing has kind of shifted in the sphere of making money with apps, and that's people are really starting to make money with apps by building like a service or a product or a brand around their application. All right, and then that app kind of acts as an anchor where everybody's going to come to, and they make money that way. These days where people would submit an app to the app store and they're like millionaires, like a game or something, those days are kind of over. So a lot of people are building a product or a brand around an app that makes money around their business. All right, Sule, where to start for beginner web development? So there's a couple of places that you can start. There's a few websites like Codecademy that you could do. There's YouTube videos, but I don't know what your goal is with starting, web development, but DevSlopes, you could check out our web academy. Go to devslopes.com/apply. And then you can work with me and I'll be your personal mentor and your coach. I'll help you learn how to code. I'll show you how to make money with programming, and whatever your goal is, I will work with you personally until you succeed with that. All right. So devslopes.com/apply. So Don Rez, you said me. I think that means that you're using React. That's awesome. That's what I'm using here at DevSlopes. A lot of the stuff I do is in React, and then also Node and stuff. I do a lot of stuff in Node. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Your views on Vue Js for a beginner. So Vue is great. I mean, really, when somebody asks me, like, is this technology or tech stack good for a beginner? I always kind of come back with the question, like, what is it you want to do with programming? If you're wanting to do web development as a beginner, you're going to be doing HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And then I would say React and Vue is an easier transition to move into those versus something like Angular. Angular has a really, really steep learning curve to it, but Vue is awesome. Vue is awesome. Krish 2643 asks a few tips about web development. I am new in this field. So yeah, so web development, there's a couple of places that you can start for free, like Codecademy. There's YouTube tutorials, things of that nature. I would check out some free sources, see what you think about web development. If you like it, you're interested. And then if you're serious about web development, there's a couple of paths that you can go through. All right. So I'm a self-taught developer myself. So I went down the like YouTube and Udemy course like path. The problem that I discovered with that is there is no guided learning path. You're just getting a lot of random information. You don't know if what you're learning is what's required to be successful in the job industry or freelancing. It's just like information. All right. So that's the route that I went down, and I wasted loads of time and went down a ton of rabbit holes because I didn't have anybody I could talk to. I didn't have a coach or a mentor. And so there's things like the DevSlopes Academy. Okay. I'm the web instructor and coach. You can go to devslopes.com/apply. And we have a very curated guided learning path. I will work with you personally to learn web development, and then I will show you how to make money with your coding skills. All right. So you can do that. Hold on. Let me get a drink. Best dad ever. That's right. All right. I'm going to take a few questions here from YouTube. How we doing, YouTube? Let's see what we got going on over here. Let's see. What is your recommendation for learning React? That's a great question. So learning React, if you're at the point where you've done your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, honestly, I feel like one of the best places to learn React is the documentation. All right, read through the docs, do some of the tutorials. That's where I would start. And the reason why I say start with the documentation versus going with like a YouTube video or something is because YouTube videos, the person like teaching on YouTube has a lot of their own opinions and practices. All right. Whereas if you go to React and check out the documentation, you're going to see the best practices, the way that React says, hey, this is how you use our technology. All right. Then you can draw the line when you're reading like different forums online or watching videos. You can find the line of, okay, this is somebody's opinion and this is the, kind of guidelines that React recommends. So go to reactjs.org, check out their tutorials. It's really good. Or you can go to devslopes.com/apply, check out the Web Academy. I teach React full stack from A to Z, all the latest React with hooks and everything. And I'm super passionate about React. And so I feel like I do a pretty dang good job teaching it for beginners since I'm self-taught myself. And so I explain it in a way that's very consumable and understandable. All right, let's see, I can't pronounce it. I apologize. Can I get a job by only doing Flutter app development? You can. All right, you can. But remember, there's different technologies that solve different problems. And so you might be limiting yourself to a specific set of clients. All right, if you're doing just Flutter apps. And sometimes it's a great choice, right? But sometimes it might not be the best choice. It depends on what the client wants. But Flutter is awesome, and there's definitely a market for it. All right, Harris Ali, I know we can learn a lot of things related to coding without a computer science degree, but tell us, can we get a job without a computer science degree? Harris, absolutely. All right, so I'm a self-taught developer. I did not go to college. I do not have a computer science degree. All right, so prior to DevSlopes, I was a full stack engineer at Dell Computers. All right. And on the job requirements, this is what Dell put on the job requirement for this position that I had applied for. It said, must have a computer science degree, must have 5 years in JavaScript, 3 years in React. I have no computer science degree. I only had 3 years in JavaScript and 1 year in React. All right. I applied for the job anyways. They interviewed me. Long story short, I got the job. All right. So, this whole notion of needing a computer science degree, the industry has really shifted. And at the end of the day, a company just wants somebody who can code and knows how to program. All right. You can either code or you don't know. All right. So, you should be applying for, every job position, like development position, regardless if it wants a computer science degree or not. And I call it a sad reality, because the thing with a computer science degree, college is teaching very old school practices. They're they're not teaching you the skills that you need to actually be successful in the job industry. Okay, they're not teaching you about npm packages, version control, Git. I think theory is great, but at the same time, with a self-taught developer, theory comes over the long run. All right. Self-taught developers have 10 times the experience of hands-on coding versus somebody with a computer science degree. And so a lot of the time, these people coming out with computer science degrees, they know way less than somebody who's self-taught, because self-taught just has more hands-on experience, period. Just how it is. Great question. All right, Sadna, my goal is to be a full stack developer. Now I'm focusing on learning front-end development. How much time will I need to master front-end development? So it really depends on the person. All right. So we all learn at different rates. All right. So to learn the front end, I mean that there's a few things to consider here. What tech stack are you learning for the front end? Because there's lots of different programming languages that can handle the front end. All right. And then for an example, if you chose to do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, I would say 6 months-ish, you could get very proficient in front end. And then if you wanted to move into back end, then use technologies like Node. Node allows you to write JavaScript on the server, all right, and do all your backend stuff, API calls, and you don't have to go learn a new programming language, right? You don't have to do something like Python or whatever for your server side code. It's all done in JavaScript, so it's a very smooth transition into the to being full stack. All right. I am Ankit. Hello, love from India. Hey, welcome. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? Do you have any experience with LinkedIn learning? Are you talking about like learning to code on LinkedIn? I don't know anything like that. Like I've never gone to LinkedIn to learn anything personally. I don't have experience with that. Let's see. Okay, so I think LinkedIn has the best courses and they're very professional instructors. I really love the way they teach. Even we can practice with them. Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea LinkedIn did stuff like that. That's cool. Let's see. Edo, I am interested in DevSlope services. How much does it cost? So, Edo, we've got different pricing options and plans. If you want to get enrolled, go to devslopes.com/apply. And then you'll just be set up with a call with one of our career coaches. They'll go through, answer all your questions, go over different pricing options, and, see if DevSlopes is a good fit for you. All right. So just go to devslopes.com/apply and fill out the application, and we'll be in touch with you. All right, Mr. Fambo, I would like to advise everyone being a developer without a college graduate, do not leave your degree. If you want to move to the US or any other country, you will be needing a degree. I don't know if you do or not. I don't have a degree in computer science or anything. And I was a full stack engineer at Dell Computers. I worked for a lot of other development companies. But you're saying if you're outside of the US and you move here, maybe it's different. I don't know. I know a lot of people from other countries without degrees that are doing remote work from their country in the US. And yeah, I don't know. I just know you don't need a computer science degree to get a job. That's for sure. All right, what else do we have? Let's take some stuff from Instagram here. Sorry if you can hear my kid yelling in the background there. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Shopify theme development? It's a very niche market. All right. Like if you're looking to land jobs like freelance work doing Shopify themes, or if you're looking to do just e-commerce stores, e-commerce websites in general, specifically Shopify themes, it's a very like niche market. I'm sure there is a demand to some level with it, but you're not going to find a demand such as like looking for a JavaScript or like a web development position, iOS or Android developers. Right? It's a very, very niche market. All right, I'm giving myself 8 months to a year to start job searching. Going to start projects soon. Kia, that's awesome. So it sounds like you're learning to code. You're giving yourself about 8 months to a year to start job searching. So here's something interesting. Okay, so when I first started to learn how to code, I did this 12-week in-person boot camp. It was like 4 hours a day for 5 days a week. All right, and it was 12 weeks. The stuff went like sky high, like way over my head. I mean, I learned some things, but the dots didn't start to connect until literally like week 10 or 11. But I started the job hunt immediately after. And I actually got a contract position um, after 14 weeks learning to code. Now, with the more professional jobs and stuff, like when I was working at Dell and some of these other development companies, I would say I was coding for probably, you know what? 8 months sounds pretty good. I was coding for probably 6 to 8 months before I started to get like a professional job. But working up to that, I was doing a lot of contract work. So I was still making money coding. I just hadn't landed one of those W-2 jobs, more or less. All right. Let's see. All right. 2 months getting the hang of JavaScript. That's awesome. JavaScript's the hardest part. It's the hardest part. And again, if I don't know how well you're picking it up, if you need some guidance and direction and want to take the fast track to like get a job, check out the DevSlopes Academy. Go to devslopes.com/apply and check out the Web Academy. I'd be honored to work with you and help you land a job. And I'm pretty sure I could do it faster than 8 months. I've got students in the academy already who haven't even finished the academy. They're like barely halfway or maybe a little over halfway through. And I'm working with them and they're already landing contract work and making $1,000 plus. And they're not even done with the academy. All right, what else do we have? Okay, how much time do we have? We have 11 minutes. All right, YouTube, let's see what we have going on over here. Michael asks, how is Laravel for a beginner? I don't know enough about it. You know, I've actually never worked with the technology or even looked into what type of learning curve there is with that. Um, Again, if you're looking for a technology as a beginner, ask yourself, what do you want to do with programming? Do you want to do web development, app development, AI, machine learning, iOS, Android? Do you want to work on embedded systems? Do you want to write code for, rovers that are on Mars? All right, game development, that's going to determine what technology stack you should be learning as a beginner. Now, with each one of those paths, there is different technologies that are a little bit easier for beginners. But you really got to choose a development path, what you want to do with programming. All right, let's see. Hey man, I just made that Evil Cube game today. It was really fun. Oh, that's awesome, Sniper B. That's in that's in one of our Unity courses, I believe, right? Is it one of the Udemy courses? Um, a Udemy course on Unity 3D. Let's see. What do you think about web developing future? Will AI replace developers' job? There's no way AI could ever take over a developer's job. There's just no way. Um, So there's a huge future for all of programming, okay? Web development, iOS, Android, like those things are going to be around for the rest of forever. All right. And they come out with tools like their Squarespace and, WordPress and other things for less tech savvy people to build websites, and they have the drag and drop stuff. But software development and custom web development, there's no way AI is going to ever take that over. All right. What else do we have? All right. Mr. Fambo, you're asking if you could join the live stream and talk about more of your experiences and hardships being a self-taught developer. Um, with what I have set up here to stream on YouTube, I can't make you a part of the stream. I apologize. But, I'm a self-taught developer as well. And there's a lot of hardships doing it on your own. I didn't have anything like a support system like what DevSlopes offers now, providing a coach and a mentor and a guided learning path. But I was learning to code on my own and I wanted to quit. I just hit roadblocks. I was wasting time learning technologies that I didn't need to. I didn't understand what programming languages or skills that I actually needed to learn to be successful in the job market. I didn't know how to freelance. I didn't know how to create a resume or strategize my LinkedIn or work with recruiters, negotiate salaries. I had to learn the hard way. But with all that hardship and everything that I experienced being a self-taught developer, I can now work with all of my students in the Web Academy and save them loads of time and money, taking the fast track. Awesome, Mr. Fambo. You shot me an email. Great. Perfect. I'll check it out. Let's see. How much time do we have? We have 8 minutes. What do we have going on in Instagram? Providence Singularity asks, how's PHP for a newbie and how long does it take to learn it? Providence, I'm going to tell you right now, there is absolutely no reason at all for a newbie or a beginner to learn PHP. Unless there's something very, 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 very specific you're looking to do with PHP or some specific job that you're going for. PHP is like 20 years old and they've come out with different frameworks and libraries that are tenfold what PHP can do and it has much cleaner syntax to it as well. I'm not saying PHP is bad by any means. There is opportunity for PHP, but you're going to find it in a lot of legacy code. All right, companies that have been around for a while and have this legacy code built in PHP. Yeah, so like I said, it's not a bad language. There's still a market for it ish, but you'll find much better technologies for a beginner. Do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, dive into React. I think that's one of the smoothest transitions. And then if you want to go into full stack, pick up something like Node and Mongo. So that's what I would strongly recommend. Shrey 21, quick roadmap for software engineering with the help of Python. I mean, Python's kind of its own ball game, and so just learning Python from beginner and some advanced techniques. But again, it's very specific. Python, I mean, you can do a lot of things with Python. But again, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish with Python. It's a great scripting language. It's great for machine learning and AI, things like that. You can do front-end development with it. But like building websites with Python, I mean, you could use it for the backend. But again, it just depends on what you want to accomplish. Like as far as web development goes, there's easier routes than Python. But Python is great. It has a really clean syntax to it. I like it. What do you think about .NET Core? I've never used it before, so I don't think anything about it. How can I learn Java as a beginner? So, I mean, there's YouTube videos. What is it you want to do with Java? What kind of development? Because you can use it for a couple of things. Java is more found in, enterprise companies using it with backend stuff. You can write Android apps with Java as well. So it really depends on what you want to do with Java. There's a lot of resources. Let's see. I want to learn Java or Python. Can anyone start with you? So So tell me why you want to learn Java or Python. Like, why those two technologies? If you let me know, that'd be cool. Let's see, who's that question? That's E9E0. All right, cool. Let's take some questions from. Do we have anything else on YouTube here? Let's see. Mr. Fambo's just answering. Goblin John, make sure your mouse isn't clicking twice, and rename comes up with a single click. I must have missed Goblin John's question. Oh, you're working on an Xcode project. Cool. Let's see. All right, yours is just something about Xcode. So Nexus asks what my favorite programming language is. So I'm a fan of web development. I've done iOS development. I've built a couple of apps. I've dabbled in Android development, but I really fell in love with web development, particularly working with React. I would say once I learned React, I became incredibly passionate about web development. I think it's an awesome UI library. And then I love using React with Node and Mongo for the server-side and backend code. But React is by far my absolute favorite. I've also used Angular. Angular is super cool. I've done Vue. I've done, what is that other? Meteor. That was terrible. I don't recommend Meteor. I didn't like that at all. Let's see. Can you let me understand Java generics in simple words? I don't know how to explain that. It's a programming language, all right? And you can use it for front end, also back end stuff. It's more of an enterprise language. You can also use it with Android development. All right, we're going to wrap up here in just a moment. Let's take some more questions here from Instagram. Is mobile development great to learn with web development? So that's a great question, Kia Natain. So you don't. So when you say mobile development, are you talking about native mobile development? Like you can do specifically iOS or Android, or you could do web development and build progressive web apps, like web applications using like React or Angular. All right, so it's still a website, but it feels more like an app. Or you can use cross-platform technologies like you could use Flutter, Dart. There's React Native. So it really depends, but the most important thing is to take incremental steps. All right, don't overwhelm yourself. I see this all the time with new developers and self-taught developers is they want to learn everything. But what you should do is become proficient in one technology. I would seriously spend up to a year in one, realm of things, like whether that be iOS, Android, or web. And then once you're proficient in that, then sure, move into another programming language, because at that point you should have a really good understanding and concept of how programming works. And then it's really just more or less picking up a new syntax with these different programming languages. What are the best programming languages for backend dev? Again, it completely depends. So it depends on the requirements of the software you're building. It can also be opinionated. Like me, when I'm doing backend, I prefer working with Node, Express, and Mongo. That's just me. But I mean, there's Postgres, SQL, NoSQL. Like there's a lot of different backend stuff you could use. Firebase, Firestore. Mishabutz, what tech stack do you work in? I work in the MERN stack. So Mongo, Express, React, and Node. I started out with the mean stack, which is Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node. But yeah, I've been doing the MERN stack for a long time. That's what I did at Dell when I was a full stack engineer there as well. We did the MERN stack. All right, we've got, it's time here. I'm going to go. I'll take two more questions. All right. Two more questions here. Let me see how many we got. All right. There's a few left. All right. So with starting out, is it smart to go straight for full stack or to start with front end or back end? Would it be too overwhelming to do full stack starting out? So let's kind of bring that question back. I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to assume maybe you're talking about web development. I would always start out with the front end, and this really goes actually for any technology. And the reason why is if you're looking to get paid as a developer, maybe that's your goal to freelance or to get a job, it is so much easier to get your foot in the door doing front end development. All right. Because a lot of companies will hire a junior front end developer, but they're less likely to hire a junior full stack or a junior back end developer. All right. And that's that's because you're new to coding and they don't want you in the database or touching the APIs and breaking code and messing up people's, data or information. And so it's so much easier to start out with front end and then transition into back end. And especially if you're doing web technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, moving into the back end is so easy because you can just use Node, which allows you to write JavaScript on the server. So everything's in the same code base and you don't have to learn anything new. So start with front end. Let's see, I'm learning Swift. Is learning Swift easy? How much time is required to learn? Again, that depends on the person, how fast they learn, but Swift is awesome. I would say it's relatively easy to learn. I mean, any programming language, you're learning a brand new language, all right? So it takes time to learn, but I would say to become proficient in the technology, probably 6 months. And that goes with most programming languages. Programming is a journey, okay? There's no fast track or like quick fix or magic formula to become a developer. It is a flat out journey. All right. And you've got to understand that. It's not like, all right, in 12 weeks, I'm going to know everything there is about programming. Absolutely not. I've been coding for 6 years and I still almost every single week learn something new. Or I have a problem that I have to solve that I've never had to do before. And it forces me to create in new creative ways. So it's a journey. You'll always be learning. What's going on, Blankenstein? Great to see you here. Let's see. Mishabots asks, do you prefer NoSQL? So I work with MongoDB, which is a NoSQL database and everything. There's no tables or anything like that. It's non-relational. That's what I personally work with. I've worked with types of SQL databases, things like that. It just really depends on the project that I'm taking on. But I like non-relational databases personally. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. So just to close here, if you are new to programming and you want to, or even if you've got some experience and you just want a guided learning path, you would like to work with a mentor and a coach and someone help you get paid as a developer to learn these skills, then go to devslopes.com/apply. And we've got the iOS, Android, and the Web Development Academy you can check out. If you want to do a fun coding challenge, DevSlopes has these 30-day coding challenges, all right, for JavaScript and Swift. So go to 30daycodingchallenge.com, and then you can enroll in one of these coding challenges. They're super awesome, and it will seriously take your skills and push them to the next level. All right, so that's a wrap. Happy Friday. Get some coding time in this weekend, and I'll see you next week.